then they finally let us inside, and basically the studio looks exactly like the TRL studios, if you guys remember what those look like. Or if you watched, like BoA on MTV Iggy, like, that whole thing that they did, that's exactly what it looks like. But anyway, so we walked in, and they put me and Kristen on the very front bench, like, right in the middle, and, like, right in front of the stage. So cue, like, mental freak out. Anyway, eventually, like, they sat everyone down, and there weren't enough seats for everyone to sit down, so they had people standing in the back and standing off to the sides. But anyway, basically, like, those who got there earlier got to be closer to the front, which I think is fair, you know? But anyway, so then the, like, director, I guess, came out and with the cameramen and stuff, and they told us to, like, scream. Basically, they filmed us screaming, and, like, he told us to look at him and pretend that he's Jin, and that this is like the first time he came out, and just to, like, look at him and scream and look as excited as if it were Jin. So they filmed us doing that, and then, like, after that, I think that's why my nerves calmed down a bit, because, like, screaming it all out like that, it kind of, like, gets rid of all that, like jittery nervousness that you have, and, like, the butterflies and everything. It kind of calms you down once you get all that energy out of your system. Anyway, so, and then finally, Jin came, and he walked through the crowd, like, to the right, I think, the first time, and he walked through, and he just, like, stood on stage and with his back dancers. Oh, wait, before he came out, the back dancers were out, like, dancing to Justin Bieber's Baby and things like that, and, like, Aubrey was being adorable, like, dancing to that whole thing. Anyway, so, and then Jin came out, and he was standing there with his dancers, and, like, as soon as he came out, they got into position to, like, dance, you know, and to sing, to perform. And we were all freaking out, like, screaming, and, like, Jin, like, I guess from the screaming, he was, like, he got embarrassed, and you could see it, and, like, he was, like, giggling, and he like, mouthed, oh, shit, like, right under his breath, because, like, the screaming was so loud. But anyways, then they went right into, Bass Go Boom, and we were all, like, we had been told the whole time, like, don't touch him, if he comes over to give someone a hug, like, don't all rush up there, and just don't touch him, don't move, like, behave. And so we were all just kind of, like, standing there going like this the whole time, like, you know, while he's dancing. And then when he was done, he, like, went backstage, and the director came out, and, like, all the staff were like, you guys need to get riled up, like, if you're excited, show it, if you want to dance, if you want to scream, like, do that. And we were like, you mean we can? Like, because, like, you know, we were so nervous about, like, behaving and not touching him and all that we just kind of, like, stood there and, like, swayed around or whatever. But anyway, so then we were happy to find out that we can, like, be as rowdy as we wanted. Yeah, and then I don't really remember the chronology of everything, so forgive me for that. But I just want to, like, go over some of the cute stuff that happened. And mainly I want to focus on the stuff that you're not going to see on camera. Because that was the cutest bit, and you're not going to see it. Anyway, so let's see. Yeah, and so basically what happened is, like, he performed 3 songs, Bass Go Boom, and then Ooh Ah, and then Yellow Gold by himself at the end there. And then in between that, they had, like, interviews with him. The VJ would interview him, ask him questions, and then he'd perform, and then another interview, and then he'd perform. And then finally, like, audience questions, and final performance, and then he left. So yeah, and basically, like, for Ooh Ah, that's when we started, like, getting into it. And I was, oh, sorry, my computer just, like, blacked out. Okay, no, I still have 52 minutes of battery life left. Anyway, yeah, so, where was I? Yeah, so for Ooh Ah, we finally, like, got into it, and I was, like, trying to dance as much as I can. Here's the thing about Jin, like, he walked in, and, like, I felt so comfortable. All my freaking out beforehand, like, went away. Because I thought, like, when I'd see him that up close, he was, like, literally 2 feet away from me. I was right in the middle, and he was standing right in front of me. And it was just weird because, like, he walked out, and I wasn't freaking out. I was just like, oh, cool, it's Jin. Like, you know, it's like, yay. But it wasn't like, oh my god, I'm gonna die, or, like, my heart's pounding, or, like, I'm gonna faint, or anything like that, which I thought would happen. I thought I would be, like, shaking, you know. But it didn't happen. Anyway, he's everyone keeps saying, like, he's a lot taller than they expected, which is true. I think he's about 5'8", but to me that's not very tall because I'm 5'6", so, like, when I see him, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's nice. It wasn't like he's tall kind of thing. But anyway, he's really, really skinny. It's so funny because, like, Kristen and I were talking about it. Like, when we were in the studio, the whole time we were thinking, oh my god, he's so adorable, he's so cute, because he was, like, goofing around and smiling and laughing, and he's, like, this tiny little guy. He's really skinny and adorable, and just, like, you just want to hug him. But then, like, we watched the fan recordings of the live feed in Times Square, and on screen, he looks sexy, and it's just kind of, like, it was so weird, because we were, like, I never sensed the sexiness when we were in there with him, and I think it's, like, the camera adds weight, so he looks more buff, and that's, like, where the sexiness comes from. But, like, and I think also the fact that, like, he was goofing around so much, like, he didn't have his serious persona, you know? He does that, like, during concerts and stuff, and sometimes during interviews, he's like, you know, I'm too cool for school, Jin, you know what I mean? He wasn't like that at all. He was, like, Akanishi the whole time. Yeah, so between takes, like, the VJ, like, when they sat down on the stools, she was, like, we were all just, like, sitting there, like, behaving or whatever, just sitting silently, like, looking at them. And he was, by the way, the whole time, I think he was too nervous because he didn't look at us at all. Like, I think when he walked in, he just kind of, like, got a quick, like, glance over the audience, but he never made eye contact with anyone. He was either, like, looking over us or, like, straight into the camera, which was kind of, like, disappointing because, like, you didn't feel a connection with him. But, I mean, I tried to mend that when he came in. I was like, hi, Jin! And then he was like, hi. He, like, didn't know where that came from. And then when he was sitting on the stool, like, to answer questions, someone next to me went, don't be nervous. And then I went, yeah, what did I say? Like, yeah, good luck, we love you. And he looked over at me and he was like, thanks. It was really cute. Like, finally someone got eye contact. I got his attention. But anyway, when we were sitting there on the stool, we were all really quiet, and the VJ goes, wow, it's so silent in here. And Jin goes, yeah, I know, I don't like it. But he said it in a really soft voice. I don't think anyone other than, like, the first row heard it. But it was just really cute. Anyway, so, like, she starts, like, they do the take where she's gonna ask him a question, so she starts talking, like, hi, this is MTV Iggy, and we're here with Akanishi Jin, blah, 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 and, like, as soon as she starts talking, he, like, flips his mic over, and he starts, like, mouthing along to her, pretending that he's her. He's like, pretending that he's the one talking. It was really cute. He was, like, imitating her and mocking her. But then they had to, like, redo that take, I think. Anyway, and then the second time, I think he was a little better behaved. Yeah. And then the time when she asked him a question when they were standing, she was, like, talking, and he walked over and, like, was, like, staring at her face, like, 2 inches away as she was talking. And he was just kind of, like, flirtatiously, like, hee, sort of thing. And he was just, like, up in her face as she was talking. We were all giggling so bad. He is such a goofball, like... Okay, for a while there, I thought Akanishi was never going to make a comeback, but no, he's still there. That's forever, like, Jin will forever be Akanishi, like, that's him. No matter how much he tries to, like, project the image of the cool guy, he's just a silly goofball. So I love that. I was so happy to get that reassurance that no, he's still the same old guy, Anyway, what else did he do? Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, he was just really cute, like, the whole time. He was, like, between takes or whatever, and between performances, he would, like, look over at the dancers and they would joke around, or he has the cutest giggle ever. Like, you've heard it. You guys ever heard his laugh? But it's just so cute to see it in person. Like, the dancer would say something funny or whatever, and he would just, like, crack up, and, like, he'd get all shy and, like, look down on the floor as he's laughing, and it's just the cutest thing ever. Yeah, what else? Oh, between one of the takes, the dancers, like, Jin was standing in the middle getting ready for his performance, so I guess that must have been for Yellow Gold right before that, because the dancers weren't on stage, they were off to the sides. And he was just standing there with the mic stand. like getting ready or whatever, and he was like putting on his serious face at this point. But anyway, so one of the dancers, I think it was Dominic, like shouts across the room to like Sean, the other dancer. No, it was the other way around. Someone on this side of the room like shouts over there because someone is like looking at the camera like pretending that they're VJ, and he goes, I think it was either Juice or Dominic, but anyway, so he goes like, "Yo, Dominic, you're not a VJ, stop pretending." And then like Dominic shouts back and he goes, "Well, you smell like a VJ." And we were all like, "Oh my god." Like everyone was like cracking up, and Jin, it takes him like a second, but he goes, "What?" And he starts cracking up, and we were all like laughing even more at that. But it was just the cutest reaction ever, because like he had this like really surprised look on his face, like he was like, he heard it and then he goes, "What?" Like, and he just starts cracking up. It's the cutest thing ever. Anyway, yeah, so that was another cute happening between takes. Let's see, what else? Yeah, so like the whole, like, I was really excited, like I wanted to ask him a question, but the whole like fan questions was scripted. Like they had 3 questions, MTV had 3 questions printed, and they just chose 3 girls and gave it to them and said, "Here, memorize this, you're gonna ask him this," which is kind of disappointing because it's like, it's scripted, you know. And they were really generic questions. But anyway, so then that part of the show came over, and they picked people from the audience to like sit on the stools where he was, like behind where he was gonna sit. And so they picked like a couple of girls around me, and like they sat them down, and then the director looked over again, and he like looked at me and he goes, "You and you and you and you," and like the girls behind me or whatever. And so I got to go up there too, and they sat me right behind him, like right in the stool, like right behind him. I have this picture, I'll post it on the on this entry, I guess, on LiveJournal. I have a screen cap of him sitting there like on the stairs, on the steps, and me sitting right behind him, like on his right shoulder, pretty much. Anyways, that was really exciting. So he comes over and like he sits down, and the VJ's sitting next to him, and the girls ask their questions. Let me try to remember what the questions were. One of them was, and this is from one of my LiveJournal friends, got to do this. So jealous. She actually got eye contact, like out of all the people. Well, I did too, but for a split second. Anyway, what her question was like, "What do you see yourself doing in 10 years?" And he answered like, "Oh, well, first he goes, okay, give me 5 hours." Like, let me think about this for 5 hours before I can, like, and like I need to like a whole 5 hours to like give you my plan or something. But then he like said that he doesn't like to plan out his life, because like if it doesn't go the way he wants, then he gets really upset. So he just doesn't want to deal with that. So he doesn't like to plan out his life, but he would, there's one thing for sure, like he would love to still be doing what he's doing, still performing, and he'd love to have some kids, which is really cute. Like I think we all went, "Aww," at that. What were the other questions? Oh my god, I can't remember. Oh yeah, one of them was about like, you know, now that you've filmed, like you've acted in Bandage, do you want to do more movies? Do you want to continue acting? And if so, would you ever act in America? And he answered with like, "Yeah, of course I want to act more, why not?" And I didn't really understand his answer about Hollywood. He goes like, "Movies in America, they make a lot of money, so I want to be in them." Like I didn't understand what he meant by that. Like he'll get paid a lot, so he wants to be in it, or like they get a lot of audience, so he wants to be in it. I don't know. But anyway, it was cute anyway. And then the third question, I don't know why, but I can't remember it for the life of me. I'm sure someone else will remind me or write a comment or an entry. But anyway, you're gonna see it on MTV anyway when it airs and when it goes online.